The woman who kissed my father goodnight was the same woman who had pressed a cold, silent death into my mother's veins. At 19, my world began to fall apart. I did not understand it at the time. My name is Kelly. Back then, I lived in a house that felt more like a museum of lost memories. It was not really a home. It was a grand, wide estate, the kind of place people admired from the outside. But inside, the air was heavy. It smelled of lilies, and it carried the long silence my mother left behind. She had been gone for 3 years. To say she was the heart of our family is not enough. She was the sun. My father and I moved around her like planets. Her kindness was not just a quality, it was a force of nature. When she passed away, the light in our lives did not just fade, it went out completely. My father had built a business empire. He had an iron will, a sharp mind. But after her death, he became a ghost of himself. He buried his sadness in spreadsheets, in late-night meetings. But every evening, when the sun dropped below the horizon, I could see it, the hollow pain in his eyes. We were 2 survivors, drifting in a sea of luxury, barely speaking, yet tied together by the same heavy loss. 2 years passed in this quiet mourning. Then, one day, my father sat me down. His study smelled of old leather and expensive scotch. The air felt thick. He told me he was thinking about marrying again. Those words hit me like a punch. My first feeling was anger, a burning, white-hot anger. How could he? How could he even think about replacing the woman who had been his everything? But then I looked at him. I really looked at him, and I saw it, the desperation. He was not looking for a replacement. He was looking for a lifeline. He was drowning in loneliness. He needed someone to hold his hand in the dark. I swallowed my pain. I stayed silent. I nodded my consent, even though my heart felt like it was breaking all over again. Then came Valara. She was his executive secretary, a woman of striking elegance. She had a calm, polished manner. It seemed almost too perfect. When he introduced us, she was the picture of grace. She spoke in a voice like velvet. She asked about my studies, my interests, my dreams. Her sincerity seemed real. For a brief moment, I allowed myself to hope. Maybe Valara was what my father needed. Maybe she could bring warmth back into the cold hallways of our home. The wedding was a small affair, tasteful, understated. Friends and colleagues raised their glasses. They toasted to my father's incredible luck. They said he had found a devoted partner. I tried to join the celebration. I tried to smile for the cameras, but a cold knot of worry was tightening in my stomach. Something was wrong. I could see it. It was in the way Valara looked at the house, not as a home, but as a prize. In the beginning, the mask stayed firmly in place. Valara played the role of the loving stepmother perfectly. She prepared meals. She asked about my day. She gave me thoughtful gifts. Whenever my father was around, she was an angel, the very picture of a caring wife and mother. But the moment the heavy oak front doors closed behind my father, the moment he left for the office, the mask did not just slip. It shattered. The grace vanished. In its place came a chilling, calculated coldness. Her voice, once like velvet, became a sharp blade. I remember the first time it happened. I was sitting in the sunroom, reading. She stood over me. Her shadow blocked the light. "Kelly," she said. Her tone had no warmth at all. "The living room is a mess. The dishes are piling up. The laundry needs attention. Get to work." I stared at her, confused. "But, Valara, we have a full staff. The maids handle the cleaning." She leaned in close. Her eyes were hard as stone. "From this moment on, you are the help. You have lived like a spoiled princess for too long. It is time you learned the value of hard work. If you say a single word of this to your father, I will make your life a living nightmare. Do you understand?" I was frozen. In my own home, the place my mother had built with love, I was being treated like an intruder. Day after day, I scrubbed floors. I washed sheets. Valara watched me from the sofa. She sipped her tea. I was a prisoner of her cruelty, silenced by fear. Fear of destroying the fragile happiness my father believed he had found. Every night I watched him come home. He was greeted by her sweet smiles, her warm hugs, and I felt a sickening dizziness. He was living in a fairy tale. I was living in a nightmare. As the weeks turned into months, a new shadow fell over our lives. My father's company, the work he had spent decades building, began to struggle. Stock prices dropped sharply. Confidential secrets were leaking to competitors. My father was a shell of a man. He paced his study until dawn, searching for the weakness in his defenses. I watched him wither under the pressure, and my heart bled for him. Then came the night that changed everything. I was walking past Valara's bedroom. It was late. I heard her voice, low, urgent, triumphant. I pressed my ear against the door. My breath caught in my throat. "The files are sent," she whispered into the phone. "Do not worry about the old man. He is blinded by his own grief. He suspects nothing. Soon the board will vote to remove him, and the company will be ours. He is a broken man, easy to control." My blood went cold. She was not just a cruel stepmother. She was a corporate predator, a parasite, draining my father's life's work. I turned to run to my father, but then I heard her laugh. It was a hollow sound, dark. It froze me where I stood. "He actually thinks I love him," she continued. "Poor desperate fool. He has no idea. I was the one who made sure his precious wife did not survive her illness. A small change to her medication. That was all it took. And soon he will suffer the same fate. Once the money is transferred, he will be nothing but a memory." The world tilted beneath me. My mother had not just died. She had been murdered. The woman on the other side of that door had poisoned the person I loved most. And now she was planning the same thing for my father. I could not breathe. The walls seemed to close in around me, but inside the terror, something sparked. A cold, hard determination lit up in my chest. I did not run. I did not scream. I reached into my pocket. I pulled out my phone, and I pressed record. The next day, I followed her. I watched from a distance. She met a man in a hidden corner of a quiet cafe. I sat 2 tables away. A large plant hid me from view. My phone recorded every word. They spoke of secret bank accounts overseas, hostile takeovers, and the unfortunate accident that would soon happen to my father. That evening, I did not go to my room to cry. I went to my father's study. He looked old. His face was lined with 1,000 worries. Without saying a word, I placed my phone on his desk, and I pressed play. The silence that followed was more powerful than any explosion. I watched the color drain from his face. Then it returned, a wave of deep red fury. He did not speak for a long time. He simply stared at the phone. His hands were shaking so hard that he had to grip the edge of the desk. "All this time," he whispered. His voice cracked. "I brought the devil into our home. I let her touch your mother's things. I let her—" He could not finish. He broke down. The sobs of a man who had lost everything twice. I held him. In the dim light of the study, our roles reversed. The child became the parent. But my father was a fighter. He wiped his eyes. The grief hardened into cold, sharp steel. "We will not just stop her, Kelly," he said. His voice was steady now. "We will destroy her." We spent the entire night working with the authorities and with the company's security team. The trap was set. The following afternoon, Valara was in the middle of a phone call. She was finalizing the transfer of stolen information. That is when the police entered the house. The look on her face when she saw the handcuffs. I will carry that image with me forever. The mask did not just slip. It vanished. She screamed, she cursed, she tried to play the victim, but the evidence was overwhelming. As they led her away, she turned to me. Her eyes burned with a wild hatred. "You little brat," she spat. "You ruined everything." I looked her straight in the eye. My voice was calm, steady, unshaken. "No, Valara, you ruined yourself the moment you touched my family." The days that followed were a storm. The news of her betrayal spread fast. The truth about my mother's murder sent shockwaves through the city. The court hearings were exhausting, but justice was swift. Valara would never see the sun as a free woman again. Slowly, painfully, peace began to return to our home. The company started to recover. Loyal employees who had long suspected Valera's tricks rallied together. But more important than business, my father and I began to heal. The silence in the house was no longer heavy with grief. It was light, filled with the presence of truth. One evening, we sat on the terrace. We watched the sunset together. My father took my hand. His grip was firm and warm. "I was blind, Kelly. I was so lost in my own pain. I did not see the danger I put you in. You saved my life. You saved our family's honor. I did it for Mom, and I did it for us." I learned a hard lesson at a young age. Evil does not always look like a monster. Sometimes it wears a beautiful face. It speaks with a gentle voice. It hides in the shadows of our grief, and it feeds on our desperation. But I also learned something else. The truth is a light, and no darkness can fully put it out. Today, our house is quiet, but it is a peaceful quiet. Every room holds the real memories of my mother, her laughter, her warmth, her love. She is no longer a tragic figure in my mind. She is a guardian. Her memory gave me the strength to fight back. I am Kelly, the daughter of a woman who was pure of heart and a man who learned to be brave again. And I promise, as long as I breathe, no one will ever threaten this family again. Thanks for listening to my story. If you liked it, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, and tell me where you're listening from.